challenge that my job has, and mainly because I spend most of my days trying to debunk three myths. The first myth is that librarians are mean. The second myth is that reading is boring. And the third myth is that extended essay is hell. So this is my life and this is my job. So for the first thing, like for the library, we were watching the video in the beginning. It's like the testimonials from the seniors on how the library has changed over time. And I'm really proud and happy to hear their testimonials, to hear that the library right now is a more welcoming place. The second myth, we have created initiatives like the high school book club, the author's visit that we do every year, and these are initiatives for you to feel also that, like, to foster love for reading. And the third one, about the extended essay, well, we have created some things. Extended essay talk is just one of them, and it's with the intention of changing the culture and improving the culture, not only around the extended essay, but as the IB diploma as well, right? So, and I think that after last week's presentation, and that's what I want to talk a little bit about, we had like what I call the extended essay, or the extended essay talks effect. So the first thing and the most common comment that I received from people coming to the library was, Nico is a rock star. And yes, Nico is a rock star. Like, he did it great. Like, his performance was amazing. Like, I think that he not only got intimidated like you guys, but also like faculty and staff. Like, he was really good, or like he was articulate and, well, very knowledgeable, of course. And like the other thing that I heard a lot was like, we should have more initiatives like this. And the good news is that we will, and by the end of Diego's talk, I'm going to announce what these new initiatives are going to be. Then we should keep doing this, and this was a very, it was kind of a critical thing that they said, like, this is great, but if we don't keep doing it, the culture is never going to change, and it's true. So I promise you all that we will keep doing these kind of things, and the extended essay talks. I wish I would have done this last year. It was so insightful. And thank you, Leo, for your insight. I'm sorry that I couldn't do it before, but you guys inspired me. The senior prom of this year inspired me to do it. So thank you, guys. I can't wait to see Diego's EE talk because he's another rock star as well. So and I can't wait to see him either. So in a few minutes, Diego is going to be presenting his insights of the extended essay to us. And this one person came and told me, Ms. Jamal, I am a certificate candidate. Can I also do the extended essay? I almost hugged him. I was so happy to hear that, because this means that the culture is already changing. Here in this room there are students that are IB diploma candidates, IEC, and even certificate candidates. All of you have to do research projects in every classroom, right? So these extended essay talks are not only for inspiring extended essay candidates, but to inspire all of you guys. All of you guys have access to the same resources, to excellent teachers that are here to help, to a counseling team that is always willing to support, to all the resources that the library has that are university level, at a university level, and to a librarian that is always willing to help and that is not mean. So everyone is welcome to the library, even if you're an IB diploma candidate, if you're an IEC candidate, or if you're a certificate, you can come and you can learn about the research process. And I hope that you really find beauty in the process. Right now in a society that is always is all about the final product and the beauty of the final products, I want you to find beauty in the process of your research, extended essay, or any research that you're doing. So where's Miss Solis? Miss Solis is here. Miss Solis is just gonna say a comment about why Diego's extended essay process was so great. Let me welcome Miss Solis.
Well, there is a great pleasure and an honor for me to introduce Diego Estevez in his talk today. I was really impressed. It's the first day I have met him, because I realized his passion, extreme passion in terms of technology especially. And well, he approached me because in the class we have talked informally that it's, I have a background in computer science as well. I have a master in electricity, and I think I have the credentials to assist any student with taking the risk to approach to an extended essay underlying technology. So when Diego realized that I have that credential, he came up with the idea to have an extended essay in computer science. And I said, wow, it's a great challenge to take, he as student and myself as advisor. And we said, let's do it. And now let's see what topic do you have in mind. And he mentioned something about Bitcoins, about blockchains. And I said, wow, this is really awesome because it's a topic, it's very new, it's very in the topic. There are a lot of entrepreneurs are very interested going in this direction. And you probably heard among your relatives or friends, they are buying Bitcoins, they are always on top of the statistics and they are interested. So there is something that actually creates that feeling of desire to be there, to get involved, and of course to understand the mechanics behind all this process, because this is a phenomenon, it has to do with economy. It's like playing with shares and so, well, we did it. We said, let's start it. And of course, the process to get to narrow down the actual topic, because it's very broad, there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of refining. He was researching a lot of material, and because of his passion, that was very simple for him. There was practically, he did it naturally. Didn't have to get too much. That he was that type of student, that type of student that is practically watching the watch, saying when the day is over to go home and to continue working on my research. Is that type of enthusiasm he proved me. And of course, so the process was very smooth throughout, that is advising him and guiding him through the process was practically a breeze for me, because in general, I had to give him advice much more in terms of the format of the extended essay, and I helped him to narrow down and to make the topic sharper. And well, so he did an excellent job according to the criteria. I evaluated the extended essay, and I'm really pleased. So, and let me tell you, even though we are not having IB computer science in school, he is a self-taught student. He manages several computer languages, and all his passion is that is going to be definitely, I see a bright future for him. Right? You are going to hear from Diego somewhere, and Microsoft somewhere, and Google in the future, near future. So all my, from my respect and for such a bright mind, and good luck in your presentation.
Diego is currently a senior pursuing his IB diploma. He became passionate about entrepreneurship and technology at a young age, having founded when he was 14 years old a video game server that went viral and was making nearly $1,000 in profits weekly, $1,000. He's also the founder of the Uber and Microsoft-backed NGO Panama Hackea, and of another company called Total Stories, a social network for citizen journalism that was recently featured as one of the top 10 most innovative artificial intelligence companies of 2019 by Business Insider, MarketWatch, and Analytics Insights. Additionally, he spoke at TEDx Madrid and TEDx ISP, and was the Blue BBA Challenge Special Speaker of 2017. Currently, he's ranked as one of the top 5 programmers in Spain, and is trying to focus on applying the blockchain to solve social problems and create better ways of accessing information in countries suffering from censorship or with limited access to the internet. Please help me welcome Diego Estevez to the stage.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Diego Estevez. So first of all, thank you very much, Ms. Solis. I think you explained very well the process. And I would like to say that I think I had a slightly different extended essay process, in the sense that I'm not sure how. Okay, X. So yeah, Ms. Losher made an exception for me, because usually we're not allowed to do an extended essay on an IB subject we're not taking. So she let me do it on computer science. It was, yeah, I mean, for me it was an excellent option, and it automatically gave me with a lot of options. So what I tried doing, my approach to the extended essay was basically trying to find the intersection, that is the overlap, between the stuff that I was already doing in my free time, like projects, founding startups, doing different initiatives, and then the extended essay requirements, and then something that could be interesting, impactful, that could be worthwhile writing a 4,000 essay about. So these were the main topics that I was considering, AI of course, quantum computing, algorithms, but then I thought about the blockchain, and the thing about the blockchain is that it's so complicated and yet so amazing that I thought that it was a great opportunity for me to to bring like a more academic perspective to something that I was already doing in my free time, and also an opportunity for me to improve and fill any gaps that I could have in the theory, and so forth. So the blockchain is all about Bitcoin. Well, no, the other way around actually. The Bitcoin is all about the blockchain. So Bitcoin, you already know, have heard about it. It's a cryptocurrency, and what's so amazing about it is that it lets us send money person to person via the internet without having to rely on anybody else, like a government, like a bank, or somebody who we need to trust in order to make the transaction. So there are many types of money. There is cash, coupons, but Bitcoin is decentralized and a cryptocurrency. Decentralized means that there is, as I said, no central authority, and instead there is a huge web, like a network of people. I'm going to give an example in the future. But yeah, it's the first of its kind to actually work, of course, over the internet. So currently, the market capitalization of all blockchain-related applications is nearly $200 billion. And there are currently 35 million Bitcoin users, and there are about 400,000 transactions per day. So yeah, that's a lot of activity. And of course, that means that there was a market need for applications like blockchain and Bitcoin. And this is how it works, pretty much. So traditionally, if I wanted to send money to Mr. Jamal, I would need to, if I didn't want to do it via cash, I would probably need to do it via a bank or an institution that both of us trusted, and do it via them. So Bitcoin instead allows us to send the money directly without having to rely on a middleman, and that pretty much allows us to have no fees. We don't have to pay any money. We don't have to trust somebody else. It's global. There are no requisites. We cannot get our account frozen, and it's person to person. So it's a completely different type of money. So it's as easy as sending an email, and we can pretty much spend it on anything, ranging from tourism to food to technology to whatever. So this is how the Bitcoin network works. So there is like a web of people, each other. There is no, as you can see, no central authority. And for instance, Ms. Gondola is connected to Mr. Matisse, and to Mr. Monson, and to Patricio. Matisse is connected to me, and that's how transactions are sent. If I wanted to send a transaction to Ms. Gondola, I would connect to her and send it directly. So it's a completely decentralized system. So that's how the blockchain looks like. So that's what my extended essay is about. So the blockchain, the way the blockchain works is that transactions mean a change in the network. That is, if I want to send money to Ms. Solis, that means that's only one transaction, right? There's a sender, a receiver, an amount, and a time. For example, here I'm sending money to Ms. Jamal, 0.428 Bitcoin. Then there's a block. A block is a group of transactions. They usually have like a limit of transactions that can be in one single block. You can see a transaction from me to Mr. Jamal, from Ms. Jamal to Mr. Matisse, from Ms. Lauscher to Vivek, and so forth. And then here's where magic happens. There's something in mathematics called a hash function. A hash function is like a machine or like a tool where we can give it any number, a photo, a sound, a video, whatever, and it gives a number representing it. That means if the text or the image change, the hash number would be completely different. So how the blockchain works is that there are many blocks, and each block has a hash representing a text with all the transactions. So if anything in a transaction inside that block changed, that means that the hash number would be different. And the hash of each block also takes into account the hash of the other block. That means that if the hash of the first block change, then the whole chain will break. So yeah, blockchains are immutable. And now the thing is, what if I add a block in my blockchain, and then Miss Solis has a different blockchain with different blocks? She could have 500 blocks, I could have 2 blocks. There is no way to actually tell by default what's the real blockchain, what's supposed to be the number of blocks to have. So now's where consensus algorithms come in, and this is what leads my research question. So consensus algorithms are the system that can tell whether what blockchain is supposed to be the real one, or how can we all agree on that a transaction or that a block should be added. So consensus algorithms, that's basically what they do. And the problem with them is that so consensus algorithms basically are a system for every member of the network that I showed in the beginning to agree that a transaction or that a block occurred. And the problem with them is that there is a trade-off between scalability, security, and decentralization. That is, usually in order to make the network more secure, more members would need to agree on that a transaction occurred, meaning that it would scale less effectively. And then if we want to have more decentralization, that is many more members in the network, also it will take longer, and it will make the network less secure and less scalable. So that was the dilemma that my extended essay is about. So this is the number of transactions that are yet waiting to be confirmed today. So it's 140 million transactions that have not been confirmed yet. They're waiting for the people in the network to agree that they have happened. So this is all done via consensus algorithms. So this is my research question, which says which consensus algorithm maximizes the scalability of the blockchain while maintaining a high degree of security and decentralization in the network. It is basically evaluating current algorithms based on that trilemma. So the first algorithm that I discussed was called proof of work. It's the first one of its kind. It's how Bitcoin works, and it's actually very simple. So there is a miner, and the miner is the person responsible for verifying the transactions. And in order to do so, they need to solve math problems. The math problems, I'm not gonna discuss details about them. But what's important about the math problems is that they become harder the more users there are in the network. That's of course to decrease the chances that somebody will get to a solution by chance. So in order to solve those math problems, miners need to spend computing power. So it's really hard to scale these systems because the difficulty of the problems increase exponentially, while the number of miners or the computing power available in the network may only increase linearly. So this is how that lack of scalability looks like. This is a screenshot taken from the number of unconfirmed transactions of Bitcoin, and you can see during late 2017 how there was a huge spike in the number of unconfirmed transactions. That was because a lot of people were joining the network. Of course, there were not enough miners, and there was not enough computing power to actually verify the transactions. Then there's another solution called proof of stake. Proof of stake is actually very interesting, and the way it works is that we bet that a transaction occurred. That is, I put some X amount of money saying, I hope that this transaction actually happened, and if 51% of the network puts money on the same option, that is, if 51% of the network agrees that it happened or that it did not happen, you get a reward. So it's very efficient. You can see that it increases in a linear scale. It's very scalable, but it's not very secure either, because somebody could easily someone could easily dominate 51% of the network, essentially confirming any transaction that they want to. And then lastly, there is something called delegated proof of stake, which is even less secure, but much more scalable. That is, users trust somebody who will confirm the transactions. This is pretty similar to how politics work to some extent. And we choose somebody who will confirm the transactions. Usually there are like 5 people. It depends on the size of the network, but it's a very limited number. And of course, it's extremely scalable. So basically, my conclusion was that they could all be joined together on top of one single blockchain, having proof of work as a bottom layer, and then there's no need to understand exactly why, but it's very easily, it can be very easily done to get the different consensus algorithms to work on top of each other, and then the network becomes very efficient, and you can easily have social networks, video games working on the blockchain. So conclusions, basically this is how I laid out the different algorithms on the trilemma. Delegated proof of stake is super scalable, but not very secure or decentralized. Proof of stake is something in between, and proof of work is secure, but not scalable. So then the takeaways, so something that I realized about the extended in computer science is that I barely had to write any code. It was mostly analysis, and I think it also applies to many other IB subjects. And then it's super important to not procrastinate. I think most seniors have had that problem as well. So I think the key about my extended essay was that I didn't procrastinate as much as I could have done. And then lastly, it's super important to enjoy the process. It's actually a great opportunity to learn to become an expert on a single topic. And I generally had a good time because I think I picked the right topic and the right subject. And I think we all could do that and not be as terrific as, not be as terrible as most people think it may be. So yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, one last thing. Also, we had a Near Space launch on Friday. So yeah, we had a Near Space launch on Friday. It was a very interesting launch in the sense that we did a lot of new things. We used satellites. We even went to the beach in order to wait for the capsule. And yeah, as I said, it was a very innovative launch. We didn't get the capsule back though because winds were super strong and the capsule deviated from the expected trajectory and fell in the ocean. But apart from that, it was an amazing launch, and thanks to everyone who made it possible.
So, right now, I know that you're thinking how I'm gonna get to the level of knowledge that Diego has or that Nico had last week, but don't feel intimidated. I promise that right now, for you juniors that are starting your extended essay, you don't see how you're gonna get there, but the process will take you there. You only have to trust in the process, and you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy the beauty of the process. So the announcement that I was going to make about other formats with the same concept behind of extended essay talks is called the extended essay chats, conversations in the black box. I know that some of you don't feel comfortable talking in front of 270 people, but you may want to share your experiences as well. So we're creating more private settings, like having lunch in the black box to share your experiences. And our first two volunteers are going to be Santi Gomez Montenegros and Sophie Carter. They're going to be talking about their extended essay process, how they fail and how they overcame all the barriers, and what they learned in the process, basically. We're going to have a lunch. It's going to be more intimate, but it's still going to be about sharing our learnings.